Welcome to the Circle Sessions featuring the Circle of Experts. The Circle of Experts are Yasmin Robles from Robles Designs, Tonnisha English-Amamoo of TJE Communications, and Don the Idea Guy. I'm Brett Johnson from Circle 270 Media Podcast Consultants. Each week, one of the Circle of Experts joins me to talk about some critical aspects of growing your podcast. We focus on marketing, social media, monetization, and website design to help you implement all of these together. This week, Tonnisha is here with the Circle of Experts. She is on a mission to help small businesses level the playing field through digital marketing solutions. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. As always, I appreciate it.
Sure. And listeners in the background, it's a working mom time. So you'll hear some baby in the background, which is perfectly fine. All of us have to work through this, and that's great. That's
yeah, I got lots of snacks here laid out. Lots of toys, so hopefully it will be good.
Yes, it'll work out fine. We had previously talked about, and we kind of predicted the future, with TikTok. And, at least right now, as we look into the future, TikTok is going to be banned unless, they win some court cases, which I don't know. It's slim to none that they will. I think what's happened is happened. And you wanted to bring up today, some alternatives, some different thoughts about, okay, this marketing tool, this platform is potentially going to be gone. And as with any social media platform, this can happen in a heartbeat. It could close shop without even warning you. So let's talk about some approaches, some thoughts about how, the remorse feeling, period, of course, but it's that, okay, but you got to move on.
You gotta move on.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Yeah. So just some background for people. We've been talking about TikTok for a while with the potential ban. And as of Wednesday, April 24th, President Biden did sign a law that would essentially ban TikTok if it's not sold within a year. So what they're looking to happen is for ByteDance, which is the company that actually owns TikTok, to sell their portion of the platform to a US based corporation or company. The problem with that is, as of right now, there really isn't anyone that could probably handle the infrastructure of TikTok other than maybe Mark Zuckerberg. But then at that point, people are saying that he may be a monopoly then when it comes to the digital marketing space and just the social media space in general. So people aren't really too sure about that. And then also there's a possibility that ByteDance may sell the platform, but they won't sell the algorithm, which is what makes TikTok TikTok. So it's almost like, what's the point in, investing potentially billions of dollars to buy the platform if you're not going to get all of the pieces? So here's what I'm suggesting that people do. As of right now, we really don't know what's going to happen. So my first thought is to just keep posting. Keep posting as normal, keep maintaining your platforms, keep up with your content as you're already doing, but have a plan. Have a plan for if this platform gets shut down right now, if they say, you know what, forget the 12 months, we're done. What is your plan? And I think that's most important for us to do on any platform that we're a part of, is to have a plan for the what if. So that's number one. I also believe that you should be thinking about how you will convert your audience from TikTok to Instagram or to another platform. Do you remember Vine?
Yeah. And I liked Vine a lot.
I love Vine, and essentially TikTok is like a reincarnation of Vine almost. But I remember when Vine was set to be shut down, and there were a lot of, I think we even talked about this before, there were a lot of people who used the platform, like comedians. There's a comedian, I remember, his name is King Botch or something like that. And he was super popular on Vine as a comedian, and he jumped to Instagram early and brought his people over there early. He didn't wait until the last minute. to continue on with his comedy. And now he's been in movies and TV shows and he's doing well for himself. Um, Another person that comes to mind is the singer Kaylani. She's a singer out of California. And when she was on Vine, she was a comedian. And towards the end of Vine, she kind of started to showcase her singing capabilities. I believe she was on like one of those competition singing shows, but people did not want to see singing from her. They wanted to see the comedy. And she was smart enough that when Vine shut down and she moved over to Instagram, she did no more comedy. She only did her singing, and now she's like a multi-platinum singer. So you can use this opportunity to reinvent yourself as you move on to another platform, or you can use this as an opportunity to double down on who you are as a podcaster, as a business owner, as a person, and convert your audience over into another platform.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult, isn't it, if you think about it,
Yeah.
because you're on TikTok for a reason because of
Right.
what it does. Maybe let's not even talk about the algorithm, but it's the short stuff.
Yeah.
It works really well, and there isn't
Hmm.
anything out there comparable. Let's put it the way there is, but it's just not the same. YouTube Shorts,
Not
yes,
the
maybe,
same.
but it's not the same, and that's where the
Right.
algorithm comes in, obviously, in regards to feeding what's going on. But it also
Mhm.
is. I think you're right. It's a good time to explore why is TikTok working for you. Maybe
Right.
it's much more beyond than what the algorithm and TikTok's doing. It's maybe just because you do really good short videos.
Yeah.
So can that translate into another platform?
Yeah, which it definitely can. I mean, we see people have lots of success with Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
The people who've jumped into YouTube Shorts early on have seen success there as well. And Reels are on Facebook as well. So, this is something that you can continue to do. It just may look a little bit different. I think what sets TikTok apart from these other platforms is that TikTok is the videos and that's it.
Yeah.
Versus Instagram, you have people posting static posts, there's swipe posts, there's reels, there's stories, there's lives. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. And I understand that that can be overwhelming trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? Where do I start? But if you know that, like you said, you're good at this thing, you can still do that thing, but unfortunately, you may have to dabble into the other things just to make sure that you're playing nice with the platform. But that doesn't mean that you have to stop your creativity with these short videos. It just may look a little bit different. And honestly, I could see where, we've seen it where once an app dies, another one is born. So there will be something else that will come and people will, be a part of and it'll grow. I mean, the social media world is constantly evolving every single day. And I think that's the fun of it is that it is unpredictable. It is, just one of those things that you learn as you go, and that's why we can't be so married to just one platform or one thing because it is constantly changing. So we also have to be willing to change as well.
Yeah, and I think what we probably need to look at too is the other platforms are going to maybe possibly take advantage
Hmm.
of that being gone. Now, again, they can't match. I mean, all of them are scratching
Right.
their head, going, what is TikTok doing with that algorithm?
Hmm.
But they could maybe refine what they're doing in regards to that. Like you said, can there be a feed that's only video and feed that's only static?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who's to say? But it's that you're
Right.
right. Keep going with what you're doing until. But so, what would you suggest as a strategy though? If let's say, okay, you just know that TikTok is going to go away, or you just say,
Hmm.
I'm not going to play to the last minute. I do want
Yeah.
to transfer over to something else. What would be some strategies that kind of keep in mind for the migration or to keep people engaged where they are, because
Mhm.
again, that TikTok is a very young demo. And
Right.
so that's one thing to keep in mind. Where do you go for that young demo? But also,
Mhm.
that transition period could be a long time. Those that play in TikTok may not want to go to Instagram because that's just not their platform as a viewer,
Right.
as a content engager. What are
Mhm.
some thoughts on that? How do you, the sooner the better, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, the sooner the better. And I do want to note that I know that maybe a few updates ago, Instagram does have the option where you can choose to only scroll through Reels. Like there's like a
Okay.
Reels button. I don't know if everybody has it yet, but there is
Okay.
a Reels button. But definitely don't wait because the people who did wait um, to transition when Vine was closing down, we may not even know who those people are anymore, or I can't think of some of the people I used to watch. I don't know what they're doing now. So you definitely don't want to wait. You want to jump now. You want to be thinking about it now. That's not to say you don't still keep posting, but you want to start thinking about this now. Where are you going to go next? Like you said, what makes TikTok work well for you, for your business? Look at your analytics. What kind of content are people resonating with? What is making them stick around and want to follow you? What is making them want more information from you? And you need to convert them. Start converting them now. Don't wait until, next year when like there's 30 days left because everybody's going to be like trying to do the same thing. You can start doing that now. So rather that be my preference would be to try to get your current followers into some sort of mailing list or some sort of community that you have outside of social media, because then at that point, no matter what happens, you have a way to reach those people. You can also think about asking them to follow you on other platforms or find you on other platforms. I mean, even when Twitter was not, I guess, technically coming to an end and becoming X, and when Elon was, pretty much kicking journalists, some journalists off the platform, a lot of journalists and publications, said like, "Hey, we're done here. Here's how you can, stay in contact with us. Here's what you can do." And they didn't delete their platforms. Like their Twitters are still there. But when you go to their Twitter account, they have a pinned tweet that shows all the places that you can find them outside of Twitter because they're not posting there anymore. So you can do that as well to, leave something there because, even though this ban is set to happen, no one's going to come to your house and delete TikTok from your phone. It's just that there won't be any more updates from the platform, and potentially, as time goes on, it won't work.
Right.
But for now, it's still there, it still exists. So you need to take advantage early on to try to get people transferred over to where you want them to be going forward.
Yeah. You've given a really good example of um, understanding who's viewing you, and how do you
Hmm.
really talk to them? Is
Hmm.
it just through there, or can you get them into other, like a community of some kind of, or
Hmm.
an email database, or a, part of a
Right.
newsletter, whatever?
Hmm.
This could be a really good learning curve, learning lesson on how to
Hmm.
communicate with your followers.
Yeah.
Can you get them? This is an example of can you activate them? Can
Yeah.
you know
Activate. That's a
beyond
good word.
beyond getting them to do something that you're telling them to do or asking them to do in your video, but can you
Hmm.
make them do a really heavy lift? And we're talking a heavy lift for somebody that loves TikTok to go to some other platform, or to
Hmm.
sign up for a newsletter, or an email database or something like that, or be a part of a community
Yeah.
somewhere. That's
Hmm.
you don't think it's a heavy lift, but it is, because people that
Hmm.
live on and want that platform, they don't want to go somewhere else.
Right.
They love
And you
that.
have to
So,
make it as
um,
easy as possible because,
yeah,
like we've said before, people are lazy. we're lazy
Mhm.
outside of like when it comes to our own businesses. Like, of
Yeah.
course, we want people to take action, but all of us are like, yeah, I'll do that later, or
Mhm.
I don't feel like clicking to their profile page to do that. So, you got to give people some grace and you have to make it as easy as possible for people to take that action. For example, with Instagram right now, there is a way you have to set it up through a third party, but instead of telling people to click the link in your bio, you can say, hey, comment the word podcast, and I'll send you a DM of my podcast so that you don't have to necessarily go clicking around. And so there's an automated system where somebody can comment podcast, it automatically responds to their comment and sends them a DM of whatever you want them to have. So, like, something like that takes it away from, like, you don't have to do anything but make the comment. You don't have to, click around. So think about how you can make it as simple as possible for people to go from one place to the next. And if you can get that down, it'll be so much easier to get people over to the next place. Whether that be a new platform or a mailing list or community or whatever.
Yeah. One thought that came to mind, and we always go back to this true crime genre because,
Yes.
you're into it, but and it's very successful. That's the thing. But it's one of
Mhm.
those, I wonder if you could pull people from TikTok onto the next platform with exclusive content.
Yeah.
Something that's a FOMO,
Mhm.
something that
Yeah.
is just that you're not going to get it here. Sorry, folks. We know
Mhm.
TikTok's gone, but we're trying to tease you over to this next platform. This is where you're going to
Yeah.
find this very cool video we did, but it's only here,
Mhm.
sort of thing.
Yes. That's perfect.
Or leading them into a sign up of something to get that
Mhm.
content. And then you're kind of you're breadcrumbing it a little bit in
Right.
regards to
Right.
where you want to. So again, it's that
Which that
learning
just
what the
reminded
audience will
me
do.
too with some like Crime Junkies, for example. I know they have an app. I believe that some of the content you have to pay for, but
Mm,
they do have an app. So, that I know apps can be a heavy, lift that
yeah.
can be expensive. But if it is a Mighty Networks or,
Hmm.
which people can access through an app, like what else is it that people can get into where now you hold their information. You don't have to go searching for it if something happens. Like they're already a part of your community where everything is, and you can build that exclusivity. Like, oh, we posted this in Mighty Networks. Did
Yeah.
you see it? So yes, I love that. I love that
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, and I think any genre podcast or business, you can use that. Think about what's that special sauce that you have that you
Hmm.
can make it even tastier by
Right.
bringing them along to, and it's going to take more than one time. So kind of plan it
Hmm.
out where you're
Yeah.
going with this strategy. And to bring them
Hmm.
along, and maybe it's that first before you do it too is maybe kind of get a general feel of those that are following you on TikTok. Where would
Hmm.
they go to follow you? Maybe just
Yeah.
straight out asking them, hey, TikTok's going to go away. What is your next best? What do you love? Your next best social media platform that you love to go to? And maybe just follow,
Yeah.
ask them and they may tell you straight out, it's not Instagram, it's something else.
Right. And to that regard, give them options. Don't say, "Hey, the only way to
Right.
stay in touch with us is this thing." It can be multiple things. It could be we have a YouTube channel, we have email, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have link. Like, give them all the options and give them the opportunity to not only tell you, like, hey, did you think about this option? But also be able to choose how they will continue to get your content going forward.
Yeah. To me, I think this is making lemonades out of lemons. Honestly,
Yeah,
it could.
exactly.
Of course, you hate to see a platform go away that is working for you, but what
Right.
a great opportunity to learn more about who's following you and what they
Hmm.
really like about you and why they
Hmm.
would do what you asked them to do. Why they would,
Exactly.
yeah. So
Exactly.
if our listener is on TikTok, loves it, really wants to figure out how to move, how can they get a hold of you to, even more? I mean, we gave them $1 million worth of ideas here,
Yeah.
but it's also the strategy of doing it. And I think that's where you
Yeah.
can come into play. That I think it takes more than just like, oh, that's a great idea, but what do I do? That's where you can come
Right.
in. How can they get a hold of you to talk a little bit more about how do I do this?
Yes, you can go to my website. It's tjecommunications.com. You can book a free consultation and we can talk through. I'm also on social media as TJE and on LinkedIn as Tanisha English-Amamoo. So
Super.
definitely reach out. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely do, because I think it's more than just a knee-jerk reaction. It's going to take some planning.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
if you're using TikTok for helping your podcast and you need some help with that, okay, what do I do with the podcast? Give Circle 270 Media a shout. You can go to mypodcastguy.com. Let's book a time and talk about it. If it includes a podcast and needs some social media, we'll bring Tanisha in with it as well too. Let's figure this out. If you got some problems looking forward, that's what we're here for. Let's figure this out, and if we can be on your team, we will be. If it makes
Yeah.
sense, let's get it working
Mm-hmm.
right. So. Exactly.
Awesome.
Tanisha, thanks for joining me again today. This
Of
has been some
course.
fantastic information, and very timely. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.